Hey folks, walk with me. I don't mind sharing personal stories on this playlist, but I don't like being super specific. But with this one, I feel like I don't really have a way around that. And, you hear once in a while of friends or family members, whomever, talking about somebody that they're close to or they used to be close to, and essentially cutting them out of their life. And it always feels like a dangerous thing for me, because I have a really bad experience and history of cutting someone out. And so let me share this, in case it sort of provides a different perspective. I don't want to talk anyone into or out of anything. Do what you feel is best. And there's different reasons for cutting people out for sure. But let me just share my story and sort of why I find that whole thing a little bit unnerving. When I was in my early 20s, I had moved to Chicago, and that was a huge change. So I was really the first person in my family to not pursue like a blue collar job. Yeah. I grew up on a farm, and my family was primarily like truck drivers and mechanics and farmers, and I wasn't. And so I moved to a city to do different things. And I quickly realized that, whenever I would call home and talk to my dad, that we were like, within 2 minutes, we were talking about the weather. And I found that really distressing. Sort of feeling like there wasn't a curiosity or an excitement about what I was experiencing, and a want to learn what those things were, or hear about them. And I was further distressed by this idea that I had that I was always the one who called. And so I had this thought of, I wonder if I don't call, will they call me? And so I put this little experiment into action. Again, this was like 20 years ago. I put this little experiment into action, and what that resulted in was me not talking to my dad for 5 years. For 5 years, we had no contact, and it was simply because I was so bent out of shape that there seemed to be no interest in what I was doing, the different life that I was leading, and my concept at the time of sort of lack of care because they wouldn't reach out to me. Ultimately, I guess that sort of proved out in a way, but after not talking for 5 years, I read this little book. I can't remember what it was, to be honest. On a flight from Portland to Chicago, I read this little book, and for some reason, it gave me the impetus to call him. And I called him, we spoke, and we then spoke a few more times after that. But what happened about, 3 or 4 months after I called him, after those 5 years, he died. He had an accident on the farm and died at 51. And so, again, this isn't to talk anyone in or out of anything, but do I wish I had those 5 years back? Yeah, for sure. Can I do anything about it now? No. So just know that if you cut people out, or if you, sort of like I did, played a little game, and it goes sideways, sometimes there isn't an opportunity to make up for it. And that's certainly how I would characterize my experience. So, I don't know, not the happiest of walks today, but something that I felt compelled to share. So there you have it. If you watched this far or walked with me, I certainly appreciate it. And as always, I will see you in the next video.